Drum roll, please, for the title.
Thuggin and thriving. First things first, how you doing today?
I'm doing amazing. How are you? Blessed and highly favored.
Blessed and highly favored. I love that. How was your week?
It was great. I feel very excited to be here.
Yeah.
Per usual, I'm ready to talk my shit again. Have you heard that?
No, I did not.
Okay, whatever. How was your week?
My week was really good, especially after week 1. My week was good. I'm excited. Very excited to be here today.
This episode is gonna be lit.
No, it's gonna be real lit. It's gonna be lit. I feel like this one is gonna be the one. We said some stuff in our last episode that today we're getting to the bottom of it.
We're unpacking.
We're unpacking today. We touching some souls.
Mm-hmm. Bring that carry-on bag. Get it ready. Yeah. Opened.
Yep. You might have to check one on this one. This is major T.
Yeah.
So let's get right into it. So I've been saying this thing, right, called thuggin and thriving. How do we define thuggin and thriving? I have a definition for you guys. Let's get into it. Thuggin and thriving, when you're going through the life that was planned for you, taking the L's as lessons and successfully learning from them. Now that takes self-work, first of all. That takes
step one.
Yeah. Yes. Step one is the self-work. So how thugging and thriving, how I can relate to that in my life. I mentioned before that my life kind of started over 9 months ago, for real. And I'm guesstimating that number, really last summer. So it hasn't been a full year where I finally was nope, get on your Zoom, babe. It was a couple months ago. And that's when I finally surrendered myself to God. And in the beginning, I'm like, okay, cool, get in your Bible. That wasn't enough. So, okay, cool. Started going to church. And I had started a new church in November. When Chrissy, when you did your birthday weekend, you had invited us to change church. And I never looked back. But I started off in my Bible before that moment. And when November came and I got in church, I'm like, okay, cool, church, Bible.
Oh, and then your birthday too. I feel like when it's your birthday, you always kind of feel that energy to kind of revamp.
And that's exactly what it was. When my birthday came, it was one of those things where I had no expectation. I literally lived in my moment. I lived in my truth. And things started unfolding for me, majorly. And when I say thugging and thriving, between the month of freaking July and December alone, when I tell you got something good coming, the enemy will come in and two. It ain't even a 2-piece. It's like Tyson. Is that
and
true?
It is not fair. You know what? It's very fair.
It is.
You know who's on our side?
I got my armor on, babe, head to toe. But first, I can't even sit here in front I never felt defeated. I'm not gonna sit here in front I never felt defeated. And it's on my spirit now to talk about it. The biggest L. I ain't gonna say the biggest L, but my first trying L that tried to ruin what God had planned for me. I had got a word, and this word takes me to what changed my life. I literally was at a hair convention. Well, it wasn't even a convention, maybe a not a podcast either, but a panel. It was kind of a panel. It was a couple the who's at this place. And my homegirl was bartending at this event. And she told me come. And this was around the time I was feeling complacent in my life. I was talking to a dude that I felt I kept giving chances to, and he kept shitting on me. And I was doing hair. My clientele was shaky. It was weird. I felt very stuck. I went to this place. And a girl stood up and asked one of the panelists a question what would you do? Because it was a whole little beauty industry thing. So one of the girls stood up and was what would you tell somebody in our industry when we feeling stuck, we feeling complacent? What's going to change that for us? And that man literally looks at her and was sometimes you got to back to square one. So when I heard that, I bust out crying in this place. I'm oh my God. Make a long story short, I want a trip to Bali at that place. I never win raffles. You know what I'm saying? I never win raffles. And I had been telling myself for a long time, I will go back to hair school. I'm going to go back to hair school.
You've been saying that for a long time.
Yeah. Because we'll make that real quick. I went to hair school, finished, graduated, everything, but I never went back to, I never took the test to get my license. And I let so many years go by to where my hours expired. So at that very moment, I'm I need to go back to hair school. Cause so many things were just coming across my table that I couldn't take. You get what I'm saying? Like, I gotta do better in life. Cause I've been doing this shit for so long. So what do? So I left that panelist place. I went and applied for school. Got accepted. I mean, it used to be hard to get in hair school. It
Really?
At Paul Mitchell, and we'll get in that one day, but it ain't that hard. You know what I'm saying? But when you have a passion for it, and you were called to do it. So I applied, got accepted. That happened in July. I started school literally 9/11. I got an eviction notice that day. The day I started school and I felt like I'm doing something right, I got an eviction notice that day. And I felt low. I'm 31 and I got a kid. Like, I got a clientele. I was bartending. I felt like I was making money. Mm-hmm. But my priorities was so fucked up.
Really? What were they at the time?
My priorities?
Yeah.
Vibing. Going with vibes. Whatever Shelby wanted to do, whatever Kendall wanted, Kendall got. We vibing. Because what you gonna do, put us out? Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Mm-hmm. We get put the fuck out. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So when you doing something right, the enemy is gonna always try to attack. And that very moment right there when I got that eviction notice, I'm like, that shit ain't never gonna happen to me again. Mm-hmm. It will never happen to me again. So I started thugging and thriving, taking this shit one day at a time, one blessing at a time, and just let God lead the way. Because
building it brick by brick.
Period. Because he says, like, do the work, he'll do the rest.
Mm-hmm. But you have to show up.
You have to show up.
You have to show up.
Because church not enough.
Yeah. And I mean, like, praying, yes, you should pray, but there has to be action behind that. And I feel like so often you just pray for things, you're just waiting on, like, a sign. But God's telling you, like, get up. You know, Somebody told me a long time ago, if you wake up, you must get up.
I receive it.
Yeah, like every morning that you wake up, first of all, it's a blessing. Thank you, God. However,
God.
do something to help this earth, or like to help your purpose, or to help someone
change the world.
Change the world. Absolutely. And I think that's also part of thugging and thriving, right? Like to thrive is to find success in what you're called to do.
Yeah. I highly believe that.
And I feel like I thug it every day. Especially, I'm like right now, my testimony, oh my gosh, I'm thugging it.
So have we added thriving to that yet?
I feel like every day I'm thriving, though.
Every day is a success.
Yeah, every day is a success story.
Because everybody don't make it to the end of the day. Because in the words, the globe, look, at the end of the day.
Oh God, the day gotta end.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, let's let it end successfully.
Yeah,
let's be proud of our small accomplishments. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, is an accomplishment ever small, though? You know, there's no such thing as a small accomplishment.
I feel like we measure our own accomplishments. Like, we put measurements on that. Because to me, it's like, oh, yeah, I did that small win. It's like, no, bitch, that's pretty big.
Hell yeah. Just like yesterday, like we were in a conversation with a really popular producer, a dope-ass lady, first of all.
Yes,
but dope. She was talking about her accomplishments, and she was just like, yeah, I did this. Like, girl, you're the shit.
Yeah,
you know, like you're literally the shit. And there's one thing about being humble about your accomplishments, and there's another thing about just like really being like proud and just
accepting it. Like, and being confident in you that girl or you that dude. You know what I'm saying? Whoever's watching, like, stand on your business and be confident in that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, she was talking yesterday and was saying how like, damn, I did that? Yeah, bitch, you did that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I look at my hairstyles like that, and I never cease to like amaze myself. Cause it's like, bitch,
you did
come on. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if it's my first time doing a hairstyle, and to me, like, here I go putting measurements on my accomplishments. Hairstyles are minute because I feel like I'm a hairstylist. You're supposed to do hair. But no, that's big.
Yeah.
It's hairstylists out here that they don't have a clientele yet. You know what I'm saying? And we can touch on that one day too. Because I've had people ask me, like, how do you build a clientele? That's an accomplishment. Building your clientele or just simply achieving a hairstyle. You know what I'm saying?
So let's go back to that day that you got the eviction notice and you decided never again, this is never going to happen to me. What was your mindset of like truly, what did thugging look like to you then? Like, how did you know, like,
I had to put my armor on and do this shit like a big girl?
Yeah.
That right there. So the eviction notice wasn't the first thing that was the last straw. That was the straw that broke the camel's back for 2023 for me.
Okay.
I had another hit over the head at the top of the year. And we'll get into that. We'll unpack that in another conversation. But that right there, how do I say, like,
because a lot of the times, or I could say, like, after getting something like that, I would feel defeated, and I would maybe, like, sulk in that for a couple of days or, be a little depressed by it. But, like, did you go through those motions, or did you just kind of like, oh, no, I'm shifting the gear, like, I'm on it?
Oh, no, baby, I cried. When I say cried, so I got, like, those big Dior goggle sunglasses, the black ones. Mm-hmm. Baby, I had them on the first day of school, babe. First day of school, you can't see me because I cried the whole way to school. I cried like the whole first 2 hours of the first day of school. Like, I cried. I cried when I got home that day. And I'm a cry, baby. I'm a cry, but it makes me feel better. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm releasing that emotion. So I did go through the motions of feeling defeated. Like, and I questioned God at that moment because why do I keep going through this? Like, I'm doing what you led me to do. Like, you spoke and I heard you when I did it. I was diligent. You get what I'm saying? I was obedient. I heard you. And you letting this happen to me.
But if you think about it, it was like, I heard you, but I'm still doing me. But I'm not fully following it.
And see, that's the thing, because at that moment, I was still doing me. Because I used to work in the club. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and God didn't want that for her.
He did not. Like, when I say
He made that very clear.
He didn't. And I will say what changed that for me, when I changed money being my main focus, like, I gotta do this. Like, I gotta pay my rent. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I spent the money on the last 4 quick leaves I did yesterday. Like, you know what I'm saying? So my rent due in 2 days. But I spent that quick leave money. So what I'm gonna do? I gotta go to the club. But once I was obedient in that, I still got knocked over the head because I left the club. You know what I'm saying? Like, I left the club and my blessings they got bigger. But I still got hit over the head, and I realized, because our pastor say it all the time, when something good happening in your life, it's the enemy's job to confuse, destroy, and to make you feel like you're doing something wrong. But not really doing something right, because you're trying to involve yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, enemy flee, you don't belong here. You can't control this narrative for me, because this is the story that God has written for me. But I had to be obedient, and I had to be diligent in my prayer. And
sit in it too. You have to sit in it.
Bask in the word, like bask in the faith. And it's okay to feel, I don't want to call it confusion. And you don't know where God is taking you. Like, you really don't know where it's going. But like that little movie that you got right here, like in your soul, when you can like close your eyes and be like, I can see it. Like, I can close my eyes right now and say, I see my graduation in a couple of months. Like, I see my daughter like graduating high school. I see my car. I see my home that I want. My shop. You know what I'm saying? The team that I built for like the salon that I'm eventually gonna have. I can see that. Yeah. But if I don't stay diligent and on the path that was written for me and stop trying to control the narrative, I'm gonna get that. So I'm gonna get it. I'm taking my L's one day at a time, but I'm taking them as lessons. Like, okay, cool, that happened. Let's not do that again. But it was a success story for me because I learned from it.
Yeah. And it's never a loss.
It's never a loss. And I'm not even gonna say like I'm never gonna do that again, because if I do it again, that's like I said before in the last episode, sometimes we just gotta change the recipe of it. Yeah. Like, even if I do it again, I'm not gonna do it like that. My approach is gonna be different. My delivery is gonna be different. It's just gonna be different. You know what I'm saying? But it's gonna work out for me.
Absolutely, because it always does. And that's one thing that gives me a lot of peace lately. Like, in this season that I'm in, like, if you don't know, I left my job of 3 years literally on just, I wasn't vibing with it anymore. Well, no, I guess I can't say that. It wasn't a vibe. I was very uncomfortable in that season, in that place. I was very, very, very uncomfortable. And I'm realizing that God makes me uncomfortable when he wants me to move.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to ask him for these things like peace, and I want to be able to take care of my family. I want to be able to afford things, nice things. And I want to have this life. I want to have this cosmetic skincare line. Like, I want all these things. Like, well, God's telling me, all right, move.
Yeah.
And I was waking up every day doing the same thing. And I also feel like a lot of my, like, who I was kind of was wrapped into my job. Like, I was so used to doing the same thing every day.
And you were heavily involved in a lot of people's lives at work.
Yes. Like, I was so just, that was me. That was Chrissy. Chrissy, who worked in dermatology surgery. Like, that was me. And I made an impact there, and I loved what I did. However, I wasn't happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't fulfilled.
It wasn't even that. It was more so the fact that you started praying and you let God know that this is what I want for myself. You want it, but you can't get it there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, that's what you want. So it's like, let me put this right here and shake it up in your spirit to let you know that you have all of these dreams and aspirations, but how you going to get that here?
And it's so crazy because when we talk about being uncomfortable means literally waking up and things that you like used to do in your normal routine, it just feels weird.
Yeah.
The things that used to make me smile and excited at work were like leaving me feeling straight faced. The people that I used to call on and be friendly with, and I realized they're not fitting into this season anymore. Like, and it was so weird and uncomfortable because for me, like, I loved my job. I love these people. I love these experiences. However, I was unhappy, and I was realizing a lot of the time and energy I was putting into this job, I was lacking in giving that energy to the people I like
that in yourself.
Actually care for
yourself
and myself.
Heavy on yourself, like, and it's just that conviction when you have like that battle with like the old you and the new you. It's like, dang, this is kind of how like Abram went from Abram to Abraham, Sarah to Sarah. It's kind of like, I'm ready for my upgrade. You know what I'm saying? So
so ready for
when
my
you
upgrade.
Start to have like that battle of like the old you and the new you, it's like, now am I doing something wrong?
And another thing is like when God says jump, you just have to jump, right? Like my prayer every morning is just like, God, please just guide me, protect me, lead me. I'm doing whatever you want me to do. And that has kept me. That has kept me since leaving my job. Like that has kept me in every way, shape, and form. Like it's led me to every step. And it's a muscle you have to build, like, because I struggle with anxiety, depression, all those things. However, like when you know that at the end of the day, God has the final say so in your life, right? Like God does. God did, God does. Like when you really believe that and you know, like he's never had his hands off of me. Yeah. Ever.
Yeah. I listened to a new song, Firm Foundation by Maverick City.
Here she go, giving free promo.
No, but listen.
What they do.
He never failed, and he not gonna do it now. He's never failed.
There's nothing in the Bible that's ever shown that God has failed.
Ever.
Nothing.
Ever.
Absolutely not.
Ever. So so you leaving your job now, what is your success story after that? So
I'm literally living in it, right? Like being here on this couch situation, this is the success story. Sharing our story, sharing my passion, sharing my journey. Like I have so many parts of me that I don't know yet, but I know that somebody needs to see it, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm excited to be that person that people can relate to. I'm excited to be that person that, I fell down a couple times. I might still fall, but one thing about me, I'm gonna get up.
Yeah, you have to get up.
And that's the thing, though. I feel like people don't show that they fall.
Yeah.
You look on social media, you look on TikTok, you look on these apps, and you think like, oh, this person has it all together. They're
all
perfect.
Figured out. Yeah, no.
No,
I don't.
Not.
I cry.
Yeah,
I get eviction notices.
Yeah, people lose jobs, they lose cars, they lose relationships.
Relationships heavy
they lose
on that.
themselves.
Yeah, but we come back in that realm of your life to know, like, that's happened to me before. Or I feel it. Like, dang, it's not just me. Like, you know what I'm saying? I genuinely feel it. But once I felt that shift, I had to be intentional with my prayer. Because yes, God bless my finances. Okay. Like,
yeah, but he never blessed you being able to manage your finances.
But
like,
I never asked
you're
for
not
that either.
Yeah, so it's like you're not saying the whole prayer, right? Like you pray for some things, but you're not. That's just like, oh, I pray for to be happier at my job. That doesn't say that you're going to keep that job, though. Like, right? Or like, you have to really be very specific.
Be very specific.
Very specific. And another thing too, like for me, I feel like I lacked direction and intentionality like years ago, right? Like I was just Chrissy, like just living my life.
Yeah.
Even when it came to school, like when I first went to school, my major was like interior design, just because I used to love HGTV. Period. It had nothing to do with but like what I wanted to do, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think I've always been into skin. I've always been into dermatology. I love that. My journey into skincare started as a patient. Like I've always had like bad skin and just acne prone skin and all these things. So I knew I wanted to do that, but I let someone get into my ear. My high school counselor, if you're seeing this, she told me, when I told her I wanted to be a doctor, she told me, you could probably marry one.
That's kind of like what did Biggie say in his song? Like his teacher had told her she wasn't gonna grow up and be nobody. Like your counselor.
You know what's crazy? A lot of rappers always say that.
And look at them.
Yeah, they always say that though.
Yeah, look at them.
Yeah. Huh? Oh, sorry.
That's crazy. So yeah, we talk about like you've always loved skincare.
Yeah.
And you just mentioned a skincare line. Like, let's talk about that.
But it's interesting though, because it's like I let people get into my ear. I let other people's like opinions of me and like what I look like.
Projecting.
Yeah, they projected their own stuff onto me, and it made me insecure about my talent and my knowledge. And I'm actually smart as hell. You know what I'm saying? I'm very smart. Bachelor of Science. But I am launching a skincare line and skin product, 7-7 Todd Aesthetics. So that is coming soon. And that is just something I got into overdrive with. Like once leaving my job, I started clocking in for myself. Yeah. That's another thing. You have to clock in for yourself. The same amount of time that you are clocking in for this job or for this person, this patient, whatever the case may be, clock in for you. Yeah. You know, because at the end of the day, who's going to?
Yeah. You have to show up for yourself.
You
gotta do that.
And even on the days where it's harder, right? Like, still do it.
I mean, because
sometimes better than no time.
Life hard. Like, no, like, step 1, step 2, step 3. Like, no handbook. No handbook came with this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, we literally have a book of principles. Like, whatever your book of principles are, whatever your, like, source of strength is, like, that's what you have to live by. You know what I'm saying? There's morals and values out here in these streets, and you have to live by something. Laws and rules work. You know what I'm saying? Like,
laws and rules work. They do work.
If we had no laws, about fucking chaos.
I ain't gonna lie. We see rules,
and they be like, why?
Why? Yeah.
Like, don't touch.
Why
hot.
not?
How hot? Am I gonna get burned?
I feel like I have the vibe where it's not gonna burn me.
But and speaking of the vibe of it's not gonna burn me, like moving to Atlanta, I got so many like, you sure? Like you only 21. Like you gonna come back. You know what I'm saying? But it's like,
oh my God, I heard that so many times.
It didn't work for you. That don't mean that it ain't gonna work for me.
And even if it doesn't work for me, right?
It's okay.
Who's to say I can't reinvent it?
And that's exactly what I did.
Again.
You know what I'm saying? Like
step 1.
Starting over, go back to square one. You know what I'm saying? Like, it worked for me. Like, one thing I absolutely hate, do not project on me. Advise me all day. You can give me advice, for sure. Do I have to take it? It's an absolute no. I don't have to take your advice.
Absolute no.
But it's an absolute no. Like, I can listen. You know what I'm saying? I'm listening. I'm hearing you. And what you tell me, if I could apply that to my life and I feel like I could use it and it'll take me to the next step, I could be successful with something that you told me, I'm going to take the advice. You know what I'm saying? But let's not be upset when I don't do it. You know what I'm saying? Because life is all about learning. It's all about lessons. And I feel like history does repeat itself. History definitely repeats itself, but the person is different. How you handle the situation is different. But the storyline just might be the same. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It just might be the same.
Yeah. I feel like that's, in our case, right? Like we have a lot of the same, like we go through a lot of the same things.
I would agree.
And it looks different sometimes. However, like the underlying key principle is like the same. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So like we both suck at, well, I don't even want to say suck, but
we're working on
our money management skills.
Yeah, heavy on that.
We are fuck it, we ball type people.
My ringtone used to spin a check and get it right back. Because why not?
And it would come back, right? Like
it always did.
And that was the problem, though. That's what gets you back into that cycle of like,
It's okay.
It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. But whole time, like rent is always gonna be due on the 1st.
Fuck that.
Late on the 3rd.
My shit used to be by the 5th, so I had a little wiggle room.
But one thing I wanted to point out: clocking your own tea, calling yourself out on your own bullshit in situations that you might have put yourself in, but blamed someone else. In order to fully thrive, you have to call yourself out on the bullshit.
Yeah.
A lot of the things that I have, most of the things in my life, I can't blame it on Harry Todd and Kendall Miles Todd. I can't blame it on my parents. No. I can't blame it on people around me. I actively participated in a lot of bullshit.
I take full accountability.
Fully. Even letting people in your life, right?
Yeah, but
like,
I will say
you did that.
That was a muscle built, though. That was a muscle built for the simple fact that I'm not going to say it has always been hard for me to take accountability, but it used to be hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it was a reaction. Like, you made me do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like,
you get defensive.
Yeah, you did that, so I reacted this way. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like, no, bitch, because the moment you let somebody control your emotions, they have full control over you.
Oh, full control.
And I'm like, fuck that. Like, I had to really sit back, dissect, and revisit a lot of the relationships or situations that I've been in. Hence, like I said on the last episode, like dissecting some relationships, I'm able to put titles on what my relationships were. And I played huge parts in a lot of like breakups. I've played huge parts in a lot of failures that I've experienced. You know what I'm saying? A lot of L's I've taken. I played major parts in it. And the one thing I could say that's big, it was how I reacted to things and me taking stuff so personal. That was number one. Like,
taking things personal would be your downfall.
Personally, because just like, damn, like, you didn't do it intentionally. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that, like, I didn't have to walk out like that, or I didn't have to call you out your name or talk at you. I got that bad.
Because some of the things people do has nothing to...
I got that bad.
But some of the things people do has nothing to do with you. Most things people do have nothing to do with you. They're just going through life and you just happen to be there. And like, the same way we say people are our placeholders, you're someone's placeholder.
For sure.
You're someone's person that they're just like, you're just there, you know? But whole time we're taking it to heart and we're thinking like, but I love you and you should act like this and you should meet me where I'm at. Nah, baby, they don't have to.
Yeah, but that's when we control our own narrative, though. Like, that's how we get in that place of being somebody's placeholder, but we don't always live in our purpose. We don't always live on the plan that's meant for us. You know what I'm saying? It takes growth. It takes, you know what I'm saying, building that confidence of who you are and getting in the word and finding out what's really for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, finding your purpose. And finding your purpose is not easy. Could you say that? Because purpose and passion is different. Let's
dissect that. Let's identify
that. Like, what you're passionate about, it's not necessarily your purpose. Like,
what are you passionate about?
I'm passionate about relationships. I love building relationships. And that's across the whole, that's broad. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I like building new clients. Like, I like having new clients. I like making new friends. I like starting relationships. And not necessarily like starting and finish. I like being in relationships. I like people. People has always been my passion. But how I was able to put my passion and purpose together.
So what's your purpose?
People are my purpose. I have an evangelistic type of spirit. I like to teach.
What does evangelistic mean?
I'm a great teacher.
Oh, a teacher, right?
So a great teacher. I'm a teacher. I'm great. If I know something, I'm good at delivering it.
Yeah. You don't withhold like information that other people should know. I am not a gatekeeper.
No. Not at all.
You're a girl's girl.
I am a girl's girl.
Yeah. I'm a girl's girl too. I'm also a people person, but I root for the freaking underdog, bruh. Like, there's something about the quote unquote underdog where it just triggers something in me. I just want to make you great because I see the little glow inside of people. And I feel like that's what makes me happy. That's where I find like peace. But overall, my purpose in life is to create and heal.
Like, I don't watch the blues. I don't.
I don't even know where to watch that at.
Listen.
Crime News in the D is the most you'll get out of me. I don't even live in the D anymore.
See, that's great. Like, if it ain't on my Explore page or like the 7 people whose story I watch every day, I'm not gonna see it.
You only watch 7 people's story every day?
It's hard. Now, one thing, it's hard for me to stay fully engaged.
Really?
On Instagram sometimes. I will scroll TikTok all day. But it's because let's dissect that for a second. Like, you even just said it a couple moments back that social media to me it's not real.
Yeah.
Like, you literally can go on social media and make people believe whatever they want to believe. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally whatever you want them to believe. And it's some people that's on Instagram and that's really your real life. That's really your real life. But
and who's to say who's
to
right
say that it's
wrong,
not,
right?
You know what I'm saying? But that's like, you even just said it, like, people don't show like the real emotion on Instagram. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, people who don't know me, you can't look at my Instagram story and be like, oh, that bitch, like, she don't pay her bills on time. You would never put 2 and 2 together to that.
You would never know that.
Looking at my Instagram like page, you will never put that together. Mm-hmm. Ever. Like, that wouldn't be a thing that you put together at all. So yeah, it's social media. Like, Instagram to me is not real. It's not real. You can be whoever the hell you want to be on Instagram. Like, we got Face app. We have Facetune. Like,
you have everything. But do you think you have to thug it to thrive? I don't think so. I don't think everyone has to go through it's down.
It happens. Like, you're gonna find, like, you're gonna hit hardships. You understand? Like, everything is not
perfect.
It's not fireworks, unicorns, and like banana splits. It don't, like, you know what I'm saying? It's how you like
react to the situation, how you handle the cards that you're dealt. Like, there's either 2 options you can do: sink or swim. What you gonna do?
You have to swim. You gotta swim. You gotta choose the higher road, definitely. But I will say, and I don't want to be like this person, but you gotta sit down. You gotta sit down. Like, you have to sacrifice some things. Like, you gotta sit this one out. And whatever, like, this one is, sit it out. Because you have to sit down and figure out what life means to you and what you want to do in life. Because we only really get one of these. Do you want to make a mark? Because I ain't gonna hold you up. Because it takes me back to the analogy, we gotta have some trash men. We gotta have a garbage man. We have to have a garbage man. Like,
yeah.
Somebody gotta take the trash out.
One thing I can say though, I feel like damn, I lost my train of thought.
What I had said is, you gotta like find your place in life. Because sometimes everybody is not gonna choose the high tier in life. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, we gotta have them kind of people in the world. Like, and those are people who are comfortable.
I remember what it was. Not only sitting in silence, but sometimes you have to like retract, right? And like, when I was going through my spiritual journey, well, one of my many spiritual journeys, but in 2020, when I was literally feeling like I lost myself and lost my purpose and lost everything, and I was wondering, like, why is God not speaking to me? Yeah. Like, why? I was comparing my situation and what my friends' situations were to mine, right? And so like, I still have a couple of friends that like, they were telling me, okay, my relationship with God looks like this. God speaks to me through music. God speaks to me through, nature, things like that. And I was just like, why is God not talking to me? Like, is he not getting through? Whole time, I'm too busy trying to compare my situation to them, not realizing I was seeing 7s everywhere.
When I say the comparing spirit will kill you.
It will kill you. It will kill you, bruh. It will kill you. Because not everything looks the same.
No, it doesn't. And like how we've said before, like, we go through a lot of the same stuff. Mm-hmm. We do. It's in different retrospects. We react to them differently, but our paths are not the same. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I've been saying this for a really long time. Like, when I be like, yeah, when I do something crazy, God, like, bitch, don't do that. I've had people say, like, God, I'm not saying that to you.
How do you know how God speaks to me?
Yeah, you can't tell me how God, because that's how I hear him. Like, yeah. And you know what I'm saying? Like,
and everyone has their own relationships. It doesn't look the same.
Yeah, and I'm not saying, do not take this the wrong way. I'm not saying God be cussing. I ain't say that. I did not say God.
She kind of did, but she didn't mean it like that.
I didn't but that's how I hear it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how he probably be like, daughter, do not do that. Do not go that way. But me, I'm like, bitch, don't do that.
Yeah, that's how you took it.
That's how I took it. That's how I perceived the message. You know what I'm saying?
And the message was received.
The message was received, and I didn't go that way.
Heard you.
Yeah, I didn't do it.
But, and I would say too, like, back to the 2020 thing, like, I had to literally sit back and sit in silence. And I don't want to say go ghost on people, because that's one thing I'm working on. Like, I'm a retractor, and I'll be in my shell, and people will be looking for me, like, type shit.
Real bad.
But I will say I do make time to be intentional with, like, being to myself and really listening to God and listening to what's going on in my body, in my mind, in my spirit. When you have so many other outside forces or just people in your life and you're having, like, a lot of opinions, how can you hear anything God is saying to you?
Opinions and options, horrible.
Yeah, I don't want too many options. Options scare me, actually.
It confuses the whole narrative. Like, too many options and opinions confuse the narrative. Like, and that's the thing. Like, the term going ghost, it's bad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But sometimes I have to take the back seat sometime in this relationship. Mm-hmm. But I need you to understand where I'm coming from, because it's not personal.
Yeah,
like, it's not personal, but it takes for us to realize that things that are not personal. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not personal that you took a backseat the times that you did and you went off and you had to sit in your shell, because Chrissy needed that. Mm-hmm. But, like, I'm a victim of that, where I felt like, oh, Chrissy ain't talking to me. Like, what is she doing?
But she hates me, or she's mad.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, damn, did I do something to her?
Yeah.
But that was because I was in a place where I took everything personal. But when I got to the place of, I can't really talk to nobody right now, because I get my best answers from my source of strength. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not from the people I talk to every day. And granted, like, for instance, us, we feed off of each other. You know what I'm saying? We put fire under each other's ass. Like, granted, you might say something to me, I'd be like, damn, I probably shouldn't go down that street because she did that happened to her. So I'm gonna just take note of that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, let's we have to focus.
we know it's business.
Then we get other people's business. So once I got to that space in my life where I didn't take things personal, I understood it. I'm able to sit back and I can quiet people out. But
that goes back to calling people on your shit too, because I was retracting and going into my shell, and I didn't even realize how I was impacting the people around me, though.
Exactly.
And that goes back to just, like, if you really care about people in your relationships, you can't just go ghost.
Establish the relationships. Like,
that's for another episode, though. We're gonna talk about that.
Yeah, because the biggest thing in life, communication is key.
Oh my gosh! And
communication.
I was a terrible communicator at one point in life. Like, I did not know how to talk to people, like,
and I
didn't know what was going on in my own life, right? Like, therapy helps a lot in many aspects. However, like, I couldn't even describe what was going on in my head. You know what I'm saying?
And that's fair.
So it's like, that's why my defense mechanism, or what was comfortable for me, was to retract and take a step back. But that's not healthy.
Yeah. It's not. I could definitely agree to that. Like, for sure. I actually pride myself on conversation. Like, and pride myself on communication. It's like, oh, you don't communicate, ain't talking to me. Like, I pride myself on that, because I just feel like, just tell me. I'm going to tell you how I feel. You know what I'm saying? But
it's crazy, though. That goes back to our two different sides of the Sag, too. Because it's like, I'm confrontational, though.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, if in a conversation, or when it comes time to have that uncomfortable conversation, I have no problem saying it right then and there, and I'm going to fall back. You are going to, like, take a step back, think about it, send maybe a paragraph, voice note, whatever about it, and, like, try to salvage it. I'm more like reaction, and I don't like that about myself. I'm trying to work on that.
And that's okay. Like, yes, but I have to take a moment. But, like, texting, like, I hate texting.
Yeah.
I can't communicate through text messages. Don't communicate through
I'm a Twitter finger type bitch. I gotta stop.
No, don't do that. Because my whole thing is, I can't read your emotion through text message. I'm huge on energy. So the moment that you text me
and I have something with a period,
I'm like, is that an attack?
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Like, I feel attacked. You know what I'm saying? And if that's the only way you want to communicate to, you don't like me, because I'm telling you, I don't communicate well through fucking text messages.
Yeah.
Don't text
Clearly,
me.
that's a red flag. Like, they don't like you.
It's a red flag. And that right there, that's when I came to the conclusion, like, oh, I ain't dealing with that no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't doing that.
Yeah.
So, communicate.
Yeah, like, the moment it starts getting spicy via text,
yeah, it's crazy.
I'm going to head out.
Yeah, speaking of heading out, y'all, thank y'all for coming to sit with us, chat with us while we unpack our lives.
And we want to hear from you. Like, what's your thugging and thriving story? Like, what's your testimony? Share your story. Like, this is a safe space.
It is.
And
no bullying, y'all.
No bullying.
And no bullying each other either. Because if you come for our cousins, we coming for you.
No, for real. But thuggin and thriving, episode 2. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, notification bell if you want to get notified.
It ain't even one that you want to. You want to get notified. Hit that subscribe button, comment, like, love us. Forget that like.
Yeah,
love us.
Forget the like. Love us. That's cute.
We're all black and white. No gray area.
You're either obsessed or you hate us. So
heavy on that. We'll see y'all next time.
Bye.